The Chinese PLA Navy's latest Type 055 class destroyer recently sailed near the Japanese waters for the first time. It led a flotilla through the Tsushima Strait. According to the Chinese state mouthpiece, Global Times, the deployment of Type 055 destroyer to the Sea of Japan was done against the recent 2+2 ministers' joint statement, which, as per Chinese experts, seriously provoked Beijing. It's to be noted that the US and Japanese foreign ministers warned China against coercing and destabilizing behavior, while Beijing warned that the US-Japan alliance should not target any third party. The report stated that the PLA's naval operation was a routine exercise, demonstrating the latest destroyer's combat readiness. This video is sponsored by the free-to-play military vehicle combat game War Thunder. We talk a lot about military vehicles on this channel, but what about trying them out for yourself? In War Thunder, you can choose from more than 1,200 playable vehicles from the 1930s to the 1990s and go to battle on more than 80 theaters of war. You can fly aircraft, helicopters, drive tanks, and command ships of all types and sizes, which have been carefully recreated from their real-world counterparts. It's available as a free download on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. So grab your friends and give it a try. All viewers of Defense Updates that register using the link in the description below will also get a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship and 3 days of premium account time as a bonus. As per reports, Kalashnikov Group will begin deliveries of the new 9mm PPK-20 submachine guns to the Russian military this year. Kalashnikov CEO Dmitry Tarasov told TASS at the IDEX 2021 International Defense Exhibition, PPK-20 supplies have not yet taken place, they're planned in 2021. The latest PPK-20 submachine gun is developed on the basis of the Vityaz SN submachine gun, also designated PP-19 Vityaz. He added further, differences from the Vityaz are the reworked firing mechanisms, the more advanced buttstock, the silencer, and the new switch. The weapon passed state trials in 2020. The PPK-20 uses the AK-19 stock, as well as being issued with AK-9 style handguards and a new suppressor. Following the first ever landing of a B-1B bomber in the Arctic Circle, the U.S. military has conducted another significant show of force in the region with the deployment of B-2 Spirit stealth bombers. The idea is to increase military presence for Arctic warfare. On March 16th, 2 B-2s joined 2 B-1B bombers for a mission off the coast of Iceland, which was described by the U.S. Air Force as long-range integration in the high north. Viewers may note that the B-1s were deployed from Norway's Orland Main Air Station, while the B-2s were flown over from the U.S. mainland. Deputy Commander of U.S. Air Forces in Europe, Lieutenant General Stephen Basham, stated, "Bomber task force missions are critical to maintaining our global competitive edge. The importance of providing airmen the opportunity to train in unique environments can't be overstated." India and the U.S. agreed to further expand their military engagement after visiting U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin met with Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh. The U.S. Defense Secretary's visit is the first one from the new Biden administration. As per reports, the discussions were focused on a wide range of issues related to defense cooperation, information sharing in emerging areas, and mutual logistical support. Reaffirming the U.S. commitment to a comprehensive, forward-looking defense partnership with India as a central pillar of their approach to the Indo-Pacific region, the U.S. Defense Secretary stated, "In rapidly shifting international dynamics, India continues to be an important partner." He also added, PM Modi stated India stands for freedom of navigation, and freedom of overflight, unimpeded lawful commerce, and adherence to international law. This reaffirms our shared vision for regional security. A Ukrainian armed forces officer rammed his Volkswagen Touran into the backside of a MiG-29 fighter, which later caught fire at Vasilikov Air Base in Kyiv. As reported by Southfront, it's likely that the damaged fighter jet will be decommissioned. Photos available on social media suggest that the engines of the fighter jet were damaged because of the hit. A pre-trial check is being carried out to check the captain's injuries. It's reported that he received bruises on his chest and soft tissues of the face. As of now, it's unclear how the Ukrainian officer was able to drive his personal car at the airport. An investigation is currently undergoing. Some reports indicate that the United States intelligence has assessed that North Korea could be preparing up to carry out its first weapons test since President Joe Biden took over the office. This aspect was reported on CNN on March 17th, citing officials who revealed the information on the condition of anonymity. U.S. Defense Department spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Martin Miners said in a statement that they don't comment on intelligence matters. But he went on to say, North Korea's continued development of ballistic missiles and weapons of mass destruction represent a threat to U.S. interests and the security of our allies and partners. In the near term, DoD, in close coordination with allies and partners, will seek to deter negative behavior from North Korea. The U.S. Navy awarded Lockheed Martin $1.54 billion to work on the Intermediate Range Conventional Prompt Strike (CPS) weapon system. A U.S. Department of Defense release said this modification contract covers design, development, build, and integration of equipment for missile flight test demonstrations and fielding. According to Lockheed Martin, Conventional Prompt Strike (CPS) designs, develops, builds, and tests an integrated hypersonic weapon system capable of launch from surface ships and submarines with the ability to conduct a precision strike at Mach 5+ speeds, that's with hypersonic speeds. Viewers may note in this context that several nations are pursuing long-range hypersonic weapons since their speed make them almost invulnerable to the current crop of air defense systems that are designed to tackle incoming threats, which have only supersonic speed. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, in a review of British military and foreign policy, has announced that the United Kingdom will build more nuclear weapons and expand its presence in the fields of space and cyberspace. He called out the challenges posed by China. As per reports, the British government wants to increase defense spending by 24 billion euros over the next 4 years, a large increase on the 42.2 billion euros spent in 2019 and 2020. Describing Beijing as the biggest state-based threat to the UK's economic security, the review said, China's increasing power and international assertiveness is likely to be the most significant geopolitical factor of the 2020s. Mr. Johnson added, there's no question that China will pose a great challenge to an open society such as ours, but we also work with China where that's consistent with our values and interests, including building a strong and positive economic relationship and in addressing climate change. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.